Hey there, friend. JhN here, and today I'm going to open up about my struggles with manifestation and mindset, being a mindset and manifestation coach or mentor. It's not always easy for even the people who teach this stuff to have such a firm mastery on it that we don't to experience some struggles. So I'm going to open up about those and then also what I do to overcome them. So if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. Thank you for checking it out. I have a passion and I have a purpose here in my earthly avatar, and that is to help you find self-love and purpose, and to help all of us just live a beautiful, radiant, conscious life. And whatever that looks like to you, I'm here to help you discover it. So please subscribe, ask me some questions in the comment section, and thank you for checking my channel out. If you're into manifestation, kind of looking into the law of attraction, I have a whole free course just on that, Manifestation 101. I just uploaded that, so be sure to check that out. I'll link that at the end of this video here. And thank you again for tagging along. So let's break down what I struggle with and how I overcome those obstacles. My first struggle that I want to get into is I would say the number one is I get these dips. And so I usually am in a really good space where I'm gaining momentum and I feel like I'm ascending and I'm getting this traction towards my goals, towards achieving my successes. The dips come when I forget my power. I basically come to the understanding where I need to have this thing at a certain timeline, or I start asking why it's not happening on the timeline that I prefer, and how it's not coming. So I'm gauging what are the channels or conduits that I'm going to receive this success through, and I want it at a certain timeline. So I dip into that kind of negative lack mindset, and I start questioning, like, why didn't this happen yet? What's taken so long? Man, I really thought this would pop. I thought this was gonna be the thing that was gonna get me to the next level. And when I find myself thinking that way, I sometimes stay in that for a day, maybe even just a few minutes, or an hour or two, or maybe a day, but usually not more than that. And then something will happen in the universe to like snap me out of it. Like kind of like when you're dipping back or you're on an airplane and your head starts dipping forward and you pop back up. That's what I feel like. Some realization will just snatch me right out of that negative mindset, and I will remember my power as a creator. See, the thing is that I feel that I am divine. I believe that we are all divine, and that I am here to live a life of purpose, to help, to raise my consciousness, to elevate, to ascend, to really embody that self-love, that divinity, to merge with my true divine nature. And I start concentrating on this other worldly material stuff sometimes, because I do have a mortgage, I have a little kid, I have a fiance, I have obligations, I run businesses. So that stuff starts kind of creeping in. And then with my realization that I am divine, that like radiance and light, I feel like just pushes all that stuff way back out of my horizon, my perspective. And then I come back to that center and I'm like, oh yeah, you're divine. And you're here for something much bigger than the material wealth and this, that, and the other, and the goals and the successes. And I just kind of like, I feel like I summit, where I just like take my bag off and I'm standing on top of the summit and I'm able to take in the majestic views and oneness with that accomplishment of just coming to that realization. So I told you guys I would give you some tips of what I do is when I'm in that negative mindset of questioning the timeline or the channel that I'm supposed to receive that success, and I forget my divine nature and slip back into that negative mindset, I will literally have to do some kind of physical exercise or breath work to expel the negative energy. Because if it has had a little bit of time to kind of marinate within myself, then I need to kind of release that. So I will do a workout. I will do a breath work exercise that I've shared on these videos I share with a lot of my clients, where I'm tensing my whole body and holding the breath, inhaling 5 seconds, holding that tension, holding that breath for 5 seconds, and then double exhalation. And then I do that 3 to 5 times in a row. And I just feel like I just dispel that energy. And then I will have a conversation with myself and I will say, are you a divine creator? Are you conscious? Are you exploring the consciousness and awakening? Are you a very spiritual individual? What is the big picture here? And of course, all that stuff is yes, 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 but it's just to reaffirm, to have that kind of inspirational, motivational talk with myself. And then I center back in on all those truths, and I literally like kind of let them wash over the inside of my heart and my spirit, my soul. Like I'm hearing some kind of chant, like a sacred chant, and I'm letting that truth just wash over my beingness, my oneness, my spirit. And I feel like it's just like bathing under a waterfall of my realization, re-realization, my rebirth in that truth again, because sometimes we forget. And then when I do that, that is, I'm centered. And then I have another talk where I'm kind of more human success Joe, and I go, what are your objectives, your goals? And I know what they are, so I state them out. I have my list of affirmations and goals and things that I'm trying to pursue. So I'll review them and I go, they're already done. Those are all your destiny. It's just a matter of time. So the gap between here, where you are right now, and there, it doesn't exist. That just your ultimate, it's like a laser pointer. Just because we're holding the laser here doesn't mean the light from all the way at the end where it's hitting the summit or the horizon is not the same light here. There is no distance there. It's just the same light. So that's the way I see myself, and I go, okay. And I remind myself of that no matter what happens, it's all for good reason. So if something seems like it's a trial or something, then there's reason there. So this is the second thing that I struggle with, actually, getting into that. But I reaffirm that my goals are done and that they are my destiny. And that reaffirmation there is also just centering. And then basically from that point, when my mind wants to trickle in a little stress, a little anxiety, a little why, a little why didn't this happen? Or how is this gonna happen? Then I catch the thought. Because after I have that whole recentering process, I can notice the thought a lot quicker. It's like an invader or an intruder. And so I see the thought and then I just release the thought. I don't let it linger. And my mind, the ego, will kind of pepper in a few of those afterwards to try to like snag me, to try to hook me back into that negative lack mindset. And then when I see it, I'll just think of things that I'm grateful for. So that's always an awesome anchor, is the gratitude. So I'll say, what do you have right now that you're really happy for? Really, really grateful about? And then I could just knock out those things. I need 12 hands, to knock out all the things, but I will authentically feel that gratitude. So I won't just think of the stuff, but I'll let it kind of radiate within me and just feel it and be like, oh my God, like you look around, look at your office, look at your space, your camera, your mic, look at what the message that you're giving, like, holy cow, all of this stuff is so freaking awesome. I'm so grateful for it. So I'll let that gratitude flow through me. So long process there, but I know a lot of people struggle with that, the how and the when and why is this not happening? And so that kind of bleeds into the second thing, is that I forget sometimes that everything is for a reason. So if I am under the idea that the law of attraction is a law that I believe in and that I am attracting the reality that I embody, then everything that happens is not bad, it's good. Everything that happens is good because it is part of the plan. It is like a staircase to that future experience that I want to attract into my life. So when I'm walking up a staircase, I want them to be pristine and marbled and cut out and all the same size and really nice and a nice little railing on the side. And that's just not all staircases. Sometimes they're really rugged and it's steep and it's like, a partial step and you kind of have to crawl over and climb. And sometimes it's not even there and you got to kind of figure out a way up and really use your mind. But you're so pissed off that this step isn't exactly what you want it to be. It's not that pristine, marbled, 90-degree step that you start falling down, because you're so angry at the fact that this step isn't what you were hoping it would be to help you ascend. But once you realize that it's just your attachment to the step being other than what it actually is, you can realize that actually, no, this step is still a step. And I'm still going to use it, even though it's a little bit more challenging, I'm still going to use it to ascend. So then I transform 180 degrees from this resentment, this attachment of anger and anxiety and stress and grief and guilt and resentment, whatever it is, the negative emotion. I go, I'm grateful for it. I'm grateful for this. So I'll look at it and just be like, thank you, because ultimately I don't have to know why this is a step, and I may not know that this is a step or what kind of step this is when I look back at it after I've already kind of overcome that step, but I just know that it is a step. So me knowing that that is part of my growth and that there's lesson there is value there, and that is what I am ultimately manifesting, then I appreciate it. I come to gratitude and I say, okay, cool. And then I start overcoming that challenge, but I have a completely different mindset. So I have to actually verbally communicate that with myself and kind of ruminate over that truth when I find myself struggling against something that's happened in my life where I feel that it's upsetting. So my AC just went out the house. $5,000 I get the quote for, right? So I'm sitting outside, leaning against the house, listening to the tech talk to me, and he gives me the quote, and the first thing I think is, I'm grateful I have the money to pay for this. I'm grateful that my house will be cool for when I needed to film, when I needed to raise my family, when I needed to just chill out on a hot summer's day. I'm grateful that I have somebody I trust who's giving me a good price and who's done work for me for free, that I have a good energy exchange there. I'm grateful that the thing is in stock. I'm grateful he can get it done so quick. I'm grateful that we're navigating this situation when it's cool and not burning and boiling hot. I'm sitting there sweating in the house. I started just listing off all the gratitude, and literally I paid the guy. I was like, oh, I'm so excited to get the AC and all that stuff. It's not something I would have scripted out that I want to do, but if I know I'm a master manifester and I'm a divine being who is attracting and embodying this presence and gratitude and everything that I teach and preach and speak about, then there's got to be a reason that I'm getting a new AC here and that it came just at this moment. And so I just lean into it, and I see that I don't have to know the reason. It can be pretty clear that I need the house to be cool, but there's other reason beyond that, and so I just embrace it. So when we find ourselves having attachment to something happening in our life, when we realize that it's actually us wanting it to be other than what it is, instead of realizing that it really is a very vital, important step, that we cannot get to the next step after that until we conquer this one, then we're grateful for it. And having that gratitude for that step will ultimately help us ascend. I had a client today who was all pissed off about his computer system was crashing, and he was gonna go to a sports game with somebody, and he was all pissed off because he had this downtime. And I'm like, wait a second, aren't you manifesting good work-life balance and quality? He's like, yeah. I'm like, doesn't this kind of seem like you can't work and the universe just told you stop and go enjoy yourself? He's like, holy shit, yeah. I'm like, it just seems like a good thing to me. From my perspective, it seems like, you're trying to do all this stuff and you got your hands tied over here. So you really have no choice. But the only thing that's upsetting you is that you're not surrendering to your circumstance. He's like, this is awesome. I feel so much better now. And he went off to the game. And you'll watch this later too, and you'll know who I'm talking about. Yeah, it's you. But when we realize that our circumstance is a gift and we embody gratitude for it, then we're continuing our momentum of attracting more things to be grateful for. So those are kind of the two things where I'm at, where I struggle with, is forgetting my divine nature and questioning the how and the when something's going to come into my life, and then finding out that things, the attachment to obstacles or experiences in my life being other than what I desire them to be. And those are the ways I progress out of it. That's self-talk and the energy work, the breath work. But I also try to keep myself and I'll notice that, like, if my diet's been off, I haven't worked out in 2 days, I'm eating a lot of processed sugars because up till 3 in the morning, and sometimes you just grab stuff and you don't think about it, and I'm doing that a little bit more, is that I'm off my game a little bit. So I have to work a little bit harder in the mindset field because physically I'm not getting as much rest, I'm not eating as clean, I'm not working out as much, I'm not meditating as much because my lifestyle and routine is off right now because we have a 3-month-old. So I know that. So I have to kind of pick up the pieces in that mental talk and just fine-tuning some mindset stuff. And then when I can, I put a little bit more time and effort and investment in cold showers, fasting, eating well, exercising, doing yoga, meditation, and all the stuff that really lifts me up. Reading books, breath work, just different stuff that helps me and my mindset stay at that really high performing level. So a few things that I struggle with. I hope you guys have some feedback, some comments. Let me know if you have some struggles. I am here to help you move beyond them. And I hope this video has proved helpful to do that if you experience some of the same struggles I do. And again, thank you for me looking like kind of crappy. Normally I take this a little bit more seriously, but I just got done working out and taking a shower. So love you all. I truly am grateful. Thank you for sharing this video. Thank you for commenting, and thank you for checking out the manifestation course. And I hope that we'll see you in the next video. Thanks guys. Have a good night.